Hello and welcome to a new video. My name is Rohit, and in today's video I'm going to talk about how I start the process of developing and building a brand new small form factor mini ITX PC. This PC is going to be directly the replacement of my laptop. For several years I have been using laptop as one of my daily drivers, but of late I have seen certain anti-repair to write kind of techniques or implementations put into laptop that stop its upgradability, maintainability, and basically configurations are locked into the vendors who are selling them. So now was the time when I wanted to purchase a new laptop, but I thought against it because at the cost of the laptop that I wanted, mainly for the purposes of 3D modeling for many of the product designs that I might do going later, for gaming of course to an extent, but most importantly for artificial intelligence and other development projects. I needed a very powerful CPU. I needed a very powerful graphic card that would support not only just the rendering in-game but also rendering real time with ray tracing and all of those things, including tensor cores for artificial intelligence. So with that in mind, I had a couple of things that I wanted to clarify before we start. So the first question that many of you would ask me, why not a laptop? Why not a MacBook Pro? Like I mentioned, it has very limited options. It's locked in by vendors. It has a very specific planned obsolescence locked into it. Most of the components are soldered in. It actually has less power by design. So I'm obviously not going to get a lot of power. I can't upgrade a lot, and I need to carry an external power brick every time I move. And now they have even stopped allowing to upgrade the battery. So in the earlier models, you could remove the battery once the battery starts acting funky. Now even the battery is baked in by design, so there's not a lot we can do to upgrade the battery. The next question you will ask me is, why not Intel? Now, the first ever Intel machine that I used, apart from my school and college and workplace, was my own desktop, a compact Presario, way back in, I guess, 2002 or 3, if I'm not mistaken. And that was the first and last Intel processor that I had bought, or at least my father had bought it for me. I have never purchased an Intel based processor, laptop or desktop or any other form of computing device. After that, my second desktop has always been AMD. After that, all of the laptops that I've purchased have been AMD, even the one that I purchased for my brother, even the one that I purchased while I was in a studio. All the machines that I had purchased for the studio were on the AMD platform. Even the ones that I have gifted to my family members, my near and dear ones, all have been AMD machines. So the only ones that I have used Intel based have been the ones that I have used in my school and college and at workplace. So my workplace usually gives me a work laptop or a work machine or a workstation, and they are incredibly limited in their power. They get heated up very fast. There was an incident in the pandemic where one of my AMD laptops actually blew out its fan, and because it was a lockdown situation, I couldn't get any replacement for my laptop CPU cooler fan. So essentially at that point of time I had to remove the back cover of the laptop, and it was an AMD processor based laptop, of course. I actually ran the laptop without a fan in the Indian hot summers. Of course, with the winning combination of AMD and Linux, not the losing combination of Intel and Windows. So that allowed me to do real-time video conferencing, PowerPoint presentation, and recording at the same time, and the recording sessions would a little later get converted into the video files. But it was a pretty good example of the workload that the AMD processors can use even without cooling, whereas Intel processors, when I was doing something similar, I won't say the same, actually got so heated up that after a session, I think on join.me at that time, I guess somewhere around 2013 or 2014, on a company given laptop running on Intel, couldn't transcode the video from a simple video teleconferencing call, and it got super heated up. I was traveling in the car. I had to use the car's AC vent to cool it to finish transcoding because it used to get heated up. It used to shut down. I had to start the process all over again. So I am a staunch follower of AMD. I know I have been using AMD for a very long time. I know it for its optimal performance, and it's not something new. I have been an AMD guy for almost let's say 2014, and we're looking at 2024. Wow, 20 years. So definitely not going to work with Intel. So just to summarize, why not Intel? It's too hot to handle, and you know, I don't even need a fan. I'm not a fan, hence, of Intel. So the next question is related to fan. Why not go for liquid cooling? Now, I am very scared, very jittery about liquid cooling, especially around my electronic components. I definitely don't want liquid cooling. Plus, the whole contraption that I'm going to build is going to travel a lot. So, of course, in the airports, it's going to be a big trouble if I had to, you know, show liquid in my cabin baggage. That's going to, of course, raise a lot of problems. Plus, since it's going to travel, there may be a lot of bumps and, you know, jerks, and I don't want the, you know, tubing to just come off or get loose and spill its liquid, whatever coolant all over my components. So I definitely will never go for a liquid cooling, and definitely for a travel case, carry case kind of electronic component. So that being said, liquid cooling is definitely not in. So next question that I usually will get asked is why not have a, you know, dumb terminal attached through the network to a powerful on-premise server class hardware, maybe through KVM console or something. So that's a pretty good use case, but unfortunately in India, the internet and the network infrastructure in general is not up to the mark. Of course, it's not suitable for real-time rendering of videos or editing jobs. Offline, or, you know, if you run a batch job to be processed later, is quite fine. But for real-time editing jobs, it's not a good deal. And plus, for the gaming, obviously, I know there has been a lot of services in US especially that allows to build a gaming infrastructure on the cloud, and you can actually rent out the gaming consoles or something on cloud, on you know, on subscription model, and actually play the games, and then, you know, it's a subscription based thing that relies on having a good network system, which is not the case at least right now in India. So even that model is not feasible for now. The next question that people may ask that, okay, since you're, you know, basing something, there may be some smartphones or wearable tech that can come into the picture, which may help. Yes, I could have gone that specific way, but there are certain space constraints in at least in the Indian or in the Mumbai and Pune region, there are space constraints in the living quarters. So having that kind of setup will not be feasible. Plus, there are certain other aspects. If you're going for a full wear tech kind of a setup, battery becomes a big challenge. You cannot have a AC direct line linked into your system that's attached to your body. So you want to be safe, you want to be having a DC based, direct current based system, preferably from a battery source. Now battery itself becomes quite heavy. Hot swappable batteries would be required because batteries can give you up to maybe around 3, maximum 4, 5 hours of decent usage, after which it will die off. And games, as you know, or sessions, work sessions also usually don't last for 4 or 5 hour session. It lasts longer than that. So hot swappable battery packs would be required in that situation, which will be difficult or at least complicated to make it from scratch. Plus creating a CC or CV module for a high wattage adapter to connect with the Pico PSU based systems, to have desktop based components, kind of adapt to laptop or mobile based systems is shall I say, best left to the experts in the domain, and I for sure am not claiming to be an expert. So that path is possible. AMD has made lots of long strides in mobile platform, handheld platform, and there are many things, but that's something that again goes back to the same disadvantages of power being a main issue, components being hard soldered onto the boards, and upgradability becoming an issue. So with all that being said, I'm going to build a small form factor PC based on the Mini ITX form factor, and for the case itself I want to have something almost similar to a laptop's profile. That should be flat and thin enough. It won't be as thin as a laptop for sure, but at least some of the considerations for at least the case that will house the components, it should be well less than 1 kilo, because the cabin baggage at the flights have a weight restriction at 7 kilos max. Most of them do. It should be small enough to be carried in a laptop bag. I have something here, so something within this range, flat, inconspicuous, which means it has to preferably be stealth or sleeper kind of a black matte look, not drawing too much attention, definitely no RGB for sure. It has to have a lot of airflow, because one of the challenges while I was researching on small form factor machines was that it's very constrained and restricted space. So airflow is not something that can be taken for granted. You have to actually design carefully regarding how you design the pathways or the flow of air to enable the maximum airflow for the cooling part. Otherwise, it will become a very big baking oven. So the case should have plenty of airflow, and at the same time, since it's drawing in or blowing out air, it should not automatically become a dust trap. And the place where I live, there are several dust bunnies, so that is one of the main concerns, that the case needs to have appropriate mesh filters. By allowing air intake and air blowouts, it should have some kind of filters built in that at least tries to minimize the dust going inside the machine. So obviously it should be serviceable as well. I should be able to quickly unscrew the components, brush it off, do a regular maintenance every now and then, but for sure it should not be a dust trap. So with those things in mind, I would like to inform you that I have not only started logging in on the YouTube videos, but also on one of the build logs that I have been writing on the smallformfactor.net website or forum, where I'll give the link in the description below, where you can actually go and see all of the steps, or all of the descriptions, all of the decision points that I have taken. You can read up, you can add your comments there as well. You need to obviously register, or you can leave your comments down below on this YouTube video as well. And I am at a decision point of choosing the right PSU. I am torn between choosing and not choosing the HDPlex GAN all in one PSU 500 watts, which is the most ideal, but it just extends a little bit more than your typical mini ITX small form factor cases allow. I'll discuss a little more while I'm doing the unboxing to give you more idea. So with that being said, let's get to the unboxing of the main components. See you in a bit.